Qualitative Analysis Lab 2 Unknown B. So you will get a test tube here. I have a test tube and it has, looks like a clear solution, but there is possible ions are magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. There could be 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of these ions that are in this test tube right here. Let's see. So just about what you're going to be answering for this is you're going to be answering a yes or a no. You'll put unknown B and then magnesium, yes or no. Calcium, yes or no. Strontium, yes or no. And barium, yes or no. The other piece that you will have is supporting evidence for each yes or no choice, and watch the general information video for details on that. Just our flow chart. So the first thing I'm going to be doing when I go off screen is adding OH minus and looking for the precipitate that would form here. Then my next reagent I would add is CrO4 minus 2, looking for the precipitate that should form here. Then the next reagent that I add is SO4 minus 2, looking for the reagent that, or the reactant, or the ion, positive ion, that would form here. And then finally I add CO3 to see if I get this ion, getting a positive test for this ion right here. So that is my plan of operations. And I think I'm going to go right to that screen share and let you see the different things being added. So I'm going to take my test tube. The first step, I'm going to add NH4OH. And in this one, so I have my 10 drops, and I don't see anything, but that's the one that gets cloudy. And it's kind of see a little cloudiness there. I don't see one. I'm going to give it a quick mix or two, look for the fish eggs or that bubbly stuff, and I'm not seeing it. Okay, so I don't see anything there. I don't really see anything. The tiny bubble here, but that's just popping. So I don't feel I need to centrifuge it or go to anything else. I'm going to go right to the next step right here, which is adding CrO4 minus 2. I add my 10 drops there. I'm going to mix that around a little bit. And this compared to another test tube, I think you see an obvious difference, and obviously cloudy was right as I added the first drop or so. And it looks pretty thick right now. Let's see if we can separate that in the centrifuge. I just dumped it in the centrifuge here. You can see me do that. I will spin this around. Okay, let's see if we can get both my head in here and the spinning right here. Whenever I use the centrifuge, I always put an empty one across it or some type of one, actually one with a little distilled water. So it's about the same weight in each test tube. It just keeps a better balance and doesn't wear out the rotors on this centrifuge right here. I'm giving that a good spin. And I think that's going to be good. Let's stop it there. Slow this down pretty quickly and go to my test tube here. So you can see how this is a lot different than the clear one. It's kind of frosting the side of the glass, and then it's stuck on the bottom, kind of at an angle on half the side at the angle, which is it's kind of at this angle, and then there's more precipitate down by that part. Okay, so I'm going to dump that into an empty test tube and go to my next step. So I'm decanting. I'm leaving that precipitate behind, and I got a nice clear solution which to compare things here. You can see like the cloudiness on the bottom and even on the sides of the glass. A little bit messy to clean up in a bit. Okay, so the third test I'm going to add is SO4 minus 2, and I'm going to add And a couple extra drops with this one. And this is the one that doesn't get real thick, but it clouds up after a little delay. Okay. This doesn't look like much delay here. It looks like it's clouded up relatively quickly. Maybe took 3 or 4 drops to start getting cloudy. And this is a pretty definitive test for the cloudiness. Sometimes you don't even see this much cloudiness with this one. We'll just centrifuge that. We'll kind of probably see it kind of going to the sides of the glass, okay, for the next step. So again, that one's not going to get as much precipitate right away when you add the drops. But for this test, this third test, that's definitely enough cloudiness to see for that test in particular. And I'm going to spin this one real good. Sometimes the ones that frost the glass, okay, take a little longer to centrifuge. So we'll see how that works. Okay, there's my blank. And oh yeah, so it kind of actually went to the bottom. So it got frosty, and actually I'm getting a little bit of frosting on the glass, but also I'm getting I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a chunk of solid on the bottom there. All right, so that is that third test. And again, it cleared out pretty good, but there's a chunk at the bottom. So it looks like it was a precipitate formation in that third test. So now the fourth test, I should be getting cloudiness right away as I add the drops. And I'm going to add CO3 minus 2. And you see this oily stuff, but I don't really see a precipitate formation. It looks very clear. I know there's that yellow left behind, but it looks like you see through both of them very much. So that's clear with this last test. There's no precipitate formation in this last test right here. So that is unknown B. Follow your flow chart and make sure make sure to be careful with the flow chart order and the ion order on page 5 or 6 of your homework packet. Make sure you're doing the right thing there. Any general questions about it, watch the general information video about unknowns, or let me know if you have questions. All right, thanks for watching Unknown B.